a look at this series and seeing who's going to face off against Archon in the grand finals 3 hours away from now. Very sorry about any issues that are going on with the stream. It ended up dropping away right as we were getting on into the draft, and we're going to be hoping that this one ends up working out this time around. We already are a decent way through the draft, as you guys can see, but TraLF, how are you doing today, and you excited about this series?
I'm doing well, and I'm very excited. There's a small change to Cole's lineup with Zizzy playing instead of Chessie. Um, and then also with the announcement of 1437 being the official fifth for DC, it makes things more interesting. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. And yet again, very sorry that we're ended up being this far into the draft, but the game should be going good, and I'm really excited about it. We talked a little bit about it before we realized that the stream went down, that the Darkseer first overall pick, followed by Dazzle, Nyx Assassin into an IO, several different bans out, the Spirit Breaker, as well as the Ancient Apparition, Tiny, and Undying in the second phase into a Queen of Pain here. So should be pretty great. I think the Nyx Assassin is kind of the standout hero here, and TraLF and I were sort of pontificating earlier about the way that the Aghanim Scepter works with this hero is when you're able to get up enough gold to make sure that you're actually able to get that item, that it can be great for holding high ground.
Yeah, and they pick up a Bounty Hunter, which the track is obviously a pretty good tool against Nyx, but as we were talking about earlier, that if you do get the Aghanim Scepter on Nyx, and I think Bulba does. Although I've seen a trend with some Nyxes where they will go like Midas first and something like that. But needless to say, if you do get the Ags, even if you are tracked or they have vision of you, you are so freaking tanky. It doesn't really matter. In fact, you want them to kind of hit you as they're like hitting high ground and you're sitting yourself up in the middle, throwing out some 6-second cooldown stuns or whatever the hell it is. It's very, very good. It might be higher than that, I think, or lower. I think it's like 9 seconds. I don't remember for sure, but yeah, it's a very, very good hero. And then Bounty Hunter picked up. Good overall. The bans from Digital Chaos were pretty obvious from the second phase. Spirit Breaker and then Tiny. You obviously want to just ban out the Tiny from the Wisp. And then Huskar picked up here in fourth position for DC.
You know, this is something that we saw the other day. I think that it was when compLexity, or excuse me, Digital Chaos were playing up against Elite Wolves in the last series 2 days ago now, considering we've had Thanksgiving in between. They ended up going for a Huskar Dazzle pickup in the first of the best of threes, and they ended up winning that series 2-0. It's a really difficult combination to deal with, and honestly now, I'm a little bit interested. What do you think about this IO Bounty Hunter combo? Like, we talked about it a little bit more, but normally you need a good amount of stuns to be able to deal with Huskar. Do you think that this is going to be enough to do that in terms of the support picks, or are we going to have to see some sort of heavy commitment to that with the next couple of picks for compLexity?
Well, they go with the Chaos Knight, which is the really old paired partner with IO. I thought they were going to run like maybe the Lina. Having the pure damage burst is really good against Huskar Dazzle. You need two things against that. You need one main thing against Huskar, and that's burst, or sorry, pure damage, and then you need a burst damage for the Dazzle. So you need two things basically against this combo. And it's really hard because most good Dazzle players will just sit really, really far back, and it's kind of hard to find them in the fight. That becomes remedied a little bit with the Bounty Hunter track. If you can manage to get a track up, you don't have to worry so much about his positioning. And and the last ban out is the TA, but it's going to be fun to see the Chaos Knight. This combo hasn't been popular for like, what, year and a half or something like that?
I know, bringing out the big guns when it ends up counting most. I mean, we've seen more Chaos Knight played recently. It has sometimes just been sort of him solo when they've done it. I mean, obviously not solo in a lane, but without his partner, the IO there. And I think that the hero works pretty well. Of course, the big problem is that if you end up falling behind, it's very difficult to catch back up. And I think that with a lineup like Digital Chaos here, where you've got some really great duration stuns, some really great AoE clear to a large extent. I mean, Queen of Pain, the Sonic Wave as it comes out, is going to be able to bring those Chaos Knight illusions down very, very low at the early levels. And Jakiro is a last pick. God, this is a major pushing and early aggression lineup. I'm not sure how compLexity are going to be able to deal with this. What are your thoughts?
I think there's definitely ways to deal with it. The only thing that feels a little bit weird in this lineup is the Quap. She just feels a little bit out of place. Because the only Sieger really is, I guess now with the Jakiro it makes it a little bit easier, but it's as a support. I don't imagine he's going to be offing Jakiro with the Nyx 4. but I have seen stranger things. As a support Jakiro, you're not really easily going to be like be able to throw out the liquid fire all the time on the tower. 5 seconds left, really quick on complexity, and they go with the Viper. Okay, I thought it was going to be the Lina, but they want something with a little bit more durability in the fights, and they want something perhaps that just has a very, very easy time against the co-op. This matchup is very Viper favored, because most of the time with Queen of Pain, you want to level up your Shadow Strike level 2 and, just do some chip damage and then blink in for a kill once you're like level 5 or 6. And it's very, very easy. But Viper, you can't do that because you actually hurt yourself more than you hurt the Viper with the corrosive skin. So it's a pretty good pickup in that sense. What Viper does struggle with is if he does get ganked, his movement speed is one of the slowest in the game for a mid-solo hero. But I don't really see many gankers on their team, so in that respect, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And the other thing is that you don't often see the dazzle. I mean, we've been seeing more and more often like heroes roam on into the mid lane to give your mid lane a little bit of a better time at the start, and I don't often see that being the role for dazzle too often, at least. I mean, I guess on occasion you can, but regardless, we're going to be getting on into this one. A highly anticipated series, I do have to say. I think people have really been looking forward to seeing these two teams play off against each other. They did meet, it's worth noting, in the Summit 4 qualifiers, where Digital Chaos were able to knock them out of that tournament. So looking for a little bit of a chance to redeem themselves here, and we'll do a quick little introduction for the players. TC is going to be playing the Huskar for DC, Bulba on the Nyx Assassin, Aoi 2000 is going to be playing the Jiro. We got Astromina, who's going to be playing the Queen of Pain 1437 on that Dazzle, and I'm assuming that is just you are there on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and then for complexity, we got Zizzy standing in for Chessie on the Chaos Knight, Hanskin playing the Wisp, Limp playing the Viper, Z-Freak roaming around playing that Bounty Hunter, and then Spindlemelons playing the Darkseer up top.
Well, it's worth noting that considering you sort of have nobody else showing on the map with that Bounty Hunter running around, they know that everybody for DC is down here. They're going to be able to secure themselves off that first rune and probably just see TC head on up to the top lane. Well, it looks like, do you think there's any chance that they might want to leave Huskar down here and sort of go for the aggro tri-lane?
Possibly. I'm reconnecting real fast because I think my Dota TV is not working at the moment. Okay. It always seems to have trouble, so...
Yeah. Definitely.
Hopefully it's better now. It seems to be better now, but...
Wonderful.
So, sorry, your question was like...
Aggro tri-lane, maybe?
Aggro tri-lane. I suppose they could. Like, Wisp Bounty Hunter CK is actually not very strong. You're assuming that the Bounty Hunter is roaming around, and it looks like, yeah, that is what they're going to do with Bulba on the safe lane Nyx.
Well, Z-Freak is staying over here, not actually going to be... able to snipe on off this courier, as 1437 does realize the inherent danger there. They get a couple pings on out and head on out into the mid lane with that Dazzle. So possibly we're going to see him move on over towards the bot lane, or maybe he might just end up heading up top to make sure that Bulba has a decent time here. But Nyx Assassin with 2 mangoes and a decent amount of regen stout shield should be able to pick up levels here, no problem, I feel like.
I think these lanes are pretty good for complexity. I don't think that... Ooh, that's kind of weird stun by Bulba, but... Well, then again, I don't know, because Bulba's going to have a fine time up top. I don't think they can really kill him. Their combo doesn't stun instantly with a tether anymore, as it stopped doing it like 2 years ago. Right. So he can always just carapace and run away. So he'll be fine. He's going to get full experience, some good CS. I think that lane is good. Yeah. 1437's bouncing back between mid and top. So it's kind of like a pseudo farming Nyx, which I saw from DAC from Secret, which was awesome. I was a big fan of it instantly when I saw it. Mid lane Quap, he's actually doing pretty well so far. 6-2 compared to the 2-2 for Viper. And then bottom lane, Huskar against Darkseer is actually a good lane. And it's probably a reason why they picked it up in the first place, because the damage from the Iron Shell just doesn't really do that much once you get some levels up in the Berserker's Blood. So I think these lanes are actually pretty good from DC.
Alright, well cool. Very interested to see what ends up happening here. And of course, the thing that's going to be interesting to see is with the Jakiro, you always want to apply that pressure to the tower. Going up against Ion Shell, you sort of have these 2 different types of damage over time that are going to be trying to kill off creeps, and I'm not really sure who's going to end up leading, but I would imagine if TC as well as Aoi are able to burst on down those Ion Shelled creeps, they're going to be able to apply at least a good amount of pressure over to their lane. But do you think that they are able to get this tower relatively early?
The bottom tower?
Yeah.
Not really. The lane's always going to be pushed up, and you need tons of levels on the Jakiro. And even then, it's such an easy way to push out your lane if you're Darkseer. So I don't imagine they get that tower quickly. What I imagine probably more is like Jakiro gets his levels and pressures maybe top or something. Or you get level 6 with the Nyx and then you can gank, depending on how fast he does hit level 6. But I don't think it's not going to happen anytime soon. I think it's going to be kind of a static laning phase right now. Unless you can find a bounty hunter to roam around, but it's kind of hard to kill the Queen of Pain. She already has a sentry down. There's not very many good gankers in this game on both sides. The bounty hunter is the only one, but like I just said, there's some counters to him right now.
Well, and he is going to be roaming on out here, realizing that Queen of Pain is probably going to be bringing the boots relatively soon. But it's worth noting that they're playing this very, very carefully. They're sending on back the Queen of Pain all the way to base, and it's just going to be brought out really swiftly. Not going to be able to get there in time to get the kill. And Bounty Hunter, unfortunately, wasting a little bit of time, but Queen of Pain also. So both heroes wasting a bit of time. I don't think that she's going to miss any experience or CS from this, though.
She missed a little bit, though. And not only did she miss a little bit, but see where the lane is? Now this is perfect position for Viper. So despite the fact that you could say Bounty Hunter did waste his time, it's actually a pretty big deal. This is going to be a favorable matchup in time for Viper now. He's pulled ahead in 6 CS so far, so I think it actually does make a bit of a difference.
Well, and that's why we have you here to tell me what it is actually going on in this game, as we do end up seeing Queen of Pain continue to just try and heal on up through this.
He is still level 1 in the bounty, though, so he definitely needs to find something to do. And it's going to be hitting the Jakiro once and then backing away.
Yeah. Well, these things happen. They do end up dropping on down another sentry here, which is going to de-ward the Radiant sentry. So a bit of sentry wards back and forth. I think that Z-Freak here, I mean, he is about to get level 2, so that's relatively okay. And often if you see these roaming supports, it's not too big of a deal if they don't hit their levels, as long as by the mid-game they are able to get to that point. But as you said, very static laning phase so far. We've seen Nyx Assassin toss out a few Suns here and there to get CS, just to make sure he doesn't end up getting...
Oh, owie.
Oh, in down bot lane. Are they going to be able to find this? Z-Freak gets hit a couple of times. They're stacking on up the spears. 5 stacks. Is this actually going to be able to kill him? They think this is. He ends up going down.
Yeah, Huskar's got level 2 spears. So a big kind of blunder there. He got a little bit excited. Didn't have a second invis to hit him and then go invis and run away. And as a result, TC gets a very, very easy rebuttal kill.
Nice. Well, pretty cool there at the very start of the game, getting a nice little kill. How important is it for DC to get off to a good start with this lineup? Is this a lineup that's going to be able to scale well against the CK-IO combo?
I don't think it's too imperative that they start snowballing early on. I still think that they have better late game. Well, I don't know. They have a Darkseer combo with, like... CK. It's hard to say, but it's not like they have like a Phantom Lancer or something on their team for complexity. So I don't think it's too crazy. I don't think it's too imperative that they have a racing start here. That being said, you do want the Co-op to have a good time, and you do want the Huskar to have a good time, because if they don't, then they feel kind of, they really do feel kind of meh. I am still very, very excited to see this Nyx. I've been such a big fan of this hero since the changes. The extremely increased... Oh, nice stun and heal bomb onto Zizzy, but there's the whiff to heal him and prevent some further damage. Yeah, but with the change to the ultimate for Nyx, like, you can run around, I think it's 40 seconds. Yeah, and it gives you a lot more time to work with. And see, there's that combo I'm talking about. You go on him, he pops a carapace, and he's just unkillable.
Yeah. Well, and also being able to have Dazzle there, there's not really a great way for them to be able to find a kill, so... I think that, yeah, like you said, this lane has been working out fairly well, and now Nyx almost level 6. The other part about that, people often just think about the invis part of Nyx, where you're able to sneak up on somebody and do a vendetta kill. But honestly, just the extra damage that you get from it, 250 bonus damage on top of this CK, who is not crazy tanky at this stage in the game, can definitely kill him if you're able to combo it up with another one of those heal bombs like we just saw.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And it looks like the problem here for complexity, as it has been for the last 6 minutes, is this bounty hunter just hasn't found a home. No lane is gankable. They got a nice dual lane top that's just completely ungankable. Can't really gank for a Viper against a blinking hero. Like if this was like a Windrunner maybe in mid, or Lina in mid, possibly a lot more gankable, but it just won't work with a Viper. You are gonna hurt himself a little bit with that. He's actually might die here. No, there's no shuriken. Maybe get an auto attack, and I think he actually is dead.
Oh god! Oh, Legion Rune as well as the bottle. He ends up going down.
He was playing with fire, man. He was just auto attacking, and letting himself get very, very low. He thought there was a failsafe with a regen in his bottle, but didn't expect the damage to come or something. I don't know. It was kind of a weird play, but nonetheless, very good but unexpected kill coming out for Limp on the Viper.
Definitely. Now the Ion Shell down here is going to be able to be on top of the CK. That might end up being a secondary kill as they take off TC. So trading so far the Darkseer for the Huskar. I think that's definitely worth it, as you talked about. Now they're chasing up here as well. Aoi 2000 turns around, able to get Z-Freak with the dual breath. There's going to be the Sonic Wave on top of Hanskin, but just able to make his way out of there. What a freaking weird game this is, TraLF. I don't know what's going on here. We've gotten 4 kills in about 8 minutes, and it seemed like everybody's kind of almost playing in slow motion based off of just the pace of the game.
Yeah, definitely a win there for compLexity. And Z-Freak, he actually snipes out the rune. They have no vision or any sentries or dust on Aoi. If they did, he was completely dead. But he gets the rune, so Yawar, he dies when he probably shouldn't have. TP's bottom, uses the ult, misses the kill, then gets his rune stolen as he walks back to the mid lane. So very, very bad series of events for the Queen of Pain. And then very good series of events for compLexity. I think they already wanted to transition their carry to the bottom lane.
Top lane, they're going to be able to catch on to Swindles. Huskar jumps in as well, and the heal bomb finishes him off. That was such a cool little change there. So the other thing that Bulba just ended up doing was he was in Vendetta, ended up popping Spike Carapace while the Ion Shell was walking by him, and then that sets up the stun for everything else.
I forgot about that. I was thinking about the mana burn being really good against DS, but against heroes like DS, like you're right, with a Carapace, it's also good against one of the more popular combinations is the Carapace against like an Ember Spirit's Flame Guard, same exact thing. And you're right, it's a very, very easy setup stun.
Well, and that's the thing too, is, I mean, if you take a look at the way that Nyx scales, he's got it right now 3 points in Impale, 2.27 seconds of disable, along with the 0.6 that you get from Spike Carapace. It allows you to, because I felt like that was one of the big problems that you faced off as a Nyx when you sort of played before this patch, was that you kind of constantly were debating, all right, do I want to try and go for the Vendetta hit, or do I want to go for the Impale? And now you don't have to choose, you can do both.
Right. Yeah, I really, really love this hero. We're going to see a TP bottom from Bulba with the smoke. This has not been detected, and he's going to probably have Vendetta up. Excuse me. Because it's got a pretty nice slow cooldown in there. He goes to pop it. Should be an easy kill on this Wisp if he can land the stun.
Here they go, getting ready for it. He's moving on in.
Ooh, or the courier.
The courier. Which do you go for? That's the question. He's in vision now.
He was indecisive. He was indecisive. He couldn't make up his mind, and now the jig is up. Oh, Bulba couldn't make up his mind fast enough, and not only do they miss the courier, they also miss the gank, and they know something's up. So Zizzy should be fine now. Although he is playing pretty far up.
I guess they didn't quite think about the TP in. That's going to be able to be enough to maybe turn this one. 1437, dropping really low. He ends up going down, and now the turnaround Hanskin, is he going to end up popping? Oh god, Yawargops also. It's a disaster right now for DC, as Bulba's going to end up going down. 3-second stun on top of him, and Aoi 2000, the lone person who did not end up dying in that failed gank attempt. They end up getting Hanskin, but at what cost?
That gank just didn't make any sense. So you sometimes when you fail a gank or someone screws up, you just need to like let it go and just just try to recuperate somewhere else. But obviously they obviously knew that they were there bottom. So when they went on them, they had to expect that rotations and support was going to come. It's kind of a weird decision from the team of DC to go after that. Also, a little indecisive nature there from Bulba, as he wasn't sure whether to just hold his Vendetta for the hero or take the courier. I think he should have taken the courier because it did have some items on it. Maybe he didn't see, but yeah, unfortunate there. And then nice bounce back from compLexity.
Yeah, well. Meanwhile, let's take a look real quick at the team net worth. Currently, compLexity, after that series of events that's lasted a couple of minutes now, they've been able to scoot on up to a 2,000. They're going to be able to catch here now. Zizzy is going to end up falling finally. So they end up getting the gank in the end. Io ends up killing off the Huskar as well, off on the other side of the map. The rotation on in from Limp, able to take him out.
Yeah, the Nether Toxin's pretty good, I guess, against the Huskar. The extra physical damage that you get as they get lower, it kind of makes sense, actually. Never really thought about it as Viper being a good hero against Huskar. I guess the slow is nice to pop it after he ulties. The constant slow from poison attack worked out really easily, I guess.
All right, Well, Bulba now is sort of deep in enemy jungle. Doesn't have Vendetta for another 20 seconds roughly, but they should be able to make something happen down here if they want to. 5 heroes now rotating on down to the bot lane for DC. We do still have Z-Freak in the area on the Bounty Hunter, as well as Swindles and Handskin, but off on the other side of the map is the Viper, and while he does have a TP, he needs to be able to be here quickly because there's a good amount of burst out of this side.
Yep, they're parking 5 heroes down here. Limp, he does have mech and a TP and level 11. He is massive right now with 6,100 net worth. He is almost double the Queen of Pain, to put things in perspective. It does look like they're just going to give up this tower, though. So despite them having the mech, they don't want to fight. They know that DC has superior vision. And that's a big part of these pushes, too. Like, if they can see where you are, it makes their initiation just so much easier, obviously. And sometimes it's smarter to just sack the tower and just find farm elsewhere. And wait until you can de-ward those wards.
So here's something that I'm a little bit curious about. Complexity's lineup, both of these sides have very defensive supports. You've got the IO obviously, and then Dazzle as well, who can keep your team alive with the Huskar. My question is, considering there isn't a mechanism yet up on DC, are we going to see a pretty strong timing window here for Complexity where they're going to be stronger than DC?
I think their team fight's always going to be stronger than DC because they don't really, their only stun is coming from the Nyx. I guess, yeah, Complexity doesn't have stuns, but these heroes fight better. Oh, there comes a Reality Rift or whatever it's called.
1437.
Onto the Dazzle.
He's able to stay alive at least a little bit longer. Does actually just walk away from that one. They're not going to be able to find that kill. Bulba now is in the middle of all of these heroes, and I think that he could set up a huge impale if they want to turn this one back around. Nice macro pyre as well as the ice path. Zizzy dropping a little bit. Look at the mechanism coming out, keeping everybody alive that much longer. Limp is going to be able to lay on down the Viper Strike on top of IO 2000. So far, Huskar has died, as well as the IO Jakiro going down, Nyx Assassin going down. Oh god, DC is not necessarily having the best time in the world right now as everybody gets away on almost no HP from Complexity. That mechanism saving their lives.
The mech plus tether is so strong. That Centaur stomp from TC almost saved the day, actually. It was a really nicely timed stomp, but just wasn't enough. But yeah, Complexity's lineup just fights better, which is surprising because Bounty Hunter hasn't even hit level 6 yet. When he does, it's going to be so much easier. The Shurikens is a ton of damage. It's one of the biggest damage nukes, I think, in the entire game. And not to mention, you can cast it and then, you know, kind of ping-pongs its way from hero to hero.
Oh, definitely.
It's really strong, and he doesn't even have that skill available yet. Well, I mean, he has the Shuriken, but not the track.
Yeah.
So the extra gold's going to come out, the extra vision's going to come out, and it looks like they're just going to continue to group up and push, and why not? The last fight was a success. Why not keep doing what works?
So that was the thing that I'm curious about, because Jakiro got in a pretty good position. He was able to lay down a great macro pyre and ice path. They were sort of consistently hitting majority of their spells. Queen of Pain as well with the ulti on top. But I guess, is it just sort of that she hasn't been able to hit that level 2 ulti yet? They don't have quite enough damage, or do they need to really burst down that IO first?
The damage is not that great from Jakiro early on. His ice path's only level 1, no points except for 1 in dual breath. All of this was pretty much on the majority of his spells was on the Viper, who has. Oh, here comes the relocate onto Roshan. They know what's going on. TC taking a ton of damage. They do have a great. No, they don't have a grave available because he actually doesn't have any mana. Now he gets mana boost.
Down. 1437. This is going to be a track kill. Darkseer is double kill now, and they're going to be able to take Roshan off the back of this. Oh man, Complexity are doing everything that they need to do right now. 12-6 is the score. Take a look at that fight recap. It's 1,000 gold swing, but the bigger issue is now Viper has an Aegis. They take away the Roshan that was supposed to go DC's way. Maybe Bulba finds a kill here on Handskin. I think he is going to, as we do end up seeing the Impale as well as the one last right click, but again and again, it's just not looking like it's enough at this point for DC.
And like I said in the draft, I just feel like this Queen of Pain pick is really just doesn't make too much sense with the rest of their lineup. The problem with Queen of Pain is he's actually not that great of a fighter. If you watch Queen of Pain players, what they'll do is they'll let everyone else fight in the team fight, and you never really want to fully commit into a Blink Scream or a Blink Sonic Wave until you know you're getting the kill and you know there's not going to be instant turn onto you. But every single time that's happened for Yawar, there has been instant turn. There's been the, and I hope I get it correct, the Reality, yeah, it is Reality Rift from the CK, which is really good against Klopp. It instantly brings him into the fray, an easy setup for the stun. And so this is why Queen of Pains, they try to rush that Orchid, get quick pickoffs onto one hero and then get out. And then you try to instantly go for that BKB, because then it makes it so that you can blink into the fray and not worry about other spells coming your way. But if you've seen here, it just doesn't work with the lineup of DC. No one else really wants to go in except for the Huskar, but he's kind of the same way against lineups like complexities. They have illusions to hurt him, they have the Nether Toxin to hurt him, so it's difficult. DC's lineup, nobody really wants to commit to a fight. Nick certainly doesn't. The best thing you got maybe is Aoi, playing the Jakiro, who by the way is engaged right now.
Yeah, again, relocated in on. They do still have the track on him. Limp is trying to chase it down with the extra movement speed from the tether. I think that they find this, although with the little spirits bouncing over on TC, I think they're going to back off, realizing that there was somebody else there, and they're relocating away by the IO. There is a chance for a fight here, considering that IO's on the other side of the map with the CK, but at least at this point they're going to content themselves with trying to push the top tower and leave that alone for now. It's a really weird lineup right now for compLexity. Like, it seems to be working incredibly well for them, but you have like this Darkseer who can throw on out the vacuum. All right, we're going to get into a fight. I'll pontificate about this later. 1437 dropping pretty low. They end up getting the Huskar jump forward. Zizzy's going to drop low, but the mechanism still gets off. Vacuum forward onto 4. That's Zizzy on a killing spree. We end up seeing the Dazzle going down. Bulba's going to fall soon as well. Everybody is falling. The only person that ended up getting in the case for this kill was the Bounty Hunter, and that's actually the Quap trying to jump out of here. She's
kind of a weird blink. She like literally blinked into the team. I guess she was tracked anyway, so it didn't really matter. Z-Freak did a really good play right there. If he was kind of playing with the Quap, he was one attack from dying, and the Quap was TPing out while he was tracked, and Z-Freak was like, no, you're not going to TP in front of me like that. And he shurikens him, cancels the TP, but dies as a result because he was such low HP. But obviously it worked out because it ended up being his life for the Quap. So really nice play from Z-Freak there at the end.
Definitely. Well, and Aoi was able to just barely get out there on the Jakiro. This is something that we talked about, is there aren't a whole heck of a lot of interrupts on the side of compLexity, and that's kind of what I was alluding to, is that in their draft, you know, you've got the Darkseer who can vacuum people in, and you did see that in that engagement, but after the fact, you don't have the normal follow-up that you would expect to see. That, you know, either the Winter Wyvern ultimate that we sometimes see, or a Light Strike array, or any of those other combos. A lot of their teamfighty spells are just these big single target nukes that they're able to take on down the side of DC with, and it's working great for them, but it's not the normal type of draft that we've been accustomed to.
Well, the reason why their lineup is working is for a few reasons. One, I think DC is not playing at the top of their form yet. Two, is the Wisp. They have a very 5-man lineup. Like, we want to fight, you come fight us. Typically what teams will do against these kind of Darkseer, Viper, just run at shoot lineups, a lot of times Undying will be in the mix, is they'll just dodge you. Like, pick an anti-mage, dodge fight, just dodge, and wait till high ground. But you can't do that against a Wisp. Wisp is the key factor in this lineup for compLexity, which was picked up very early on. It makes it so that, yes, you can 5-man, but, oh, they're going to go Roshan, let's go gank them anyway. This is the key ingredient to their lineup, and I expect if they wipe the floor here with DC and they go to a game 2, I expect it to get banned out here.
Definitely. Well, as you said, wait, they're going for Roshan. I actually went and looked at the Rosh pit, and I realized, oh, he was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So now,
sorry,
no problem. Bulba is sort of stalking away over here. He does have that Blink Dagger up. We haven't seen the best of initiations as of yet. Hoping to see another one here in a second or two, but it does feel like DC don't have a great way to answer any of this stuff. The top 3 cores right now for compLexity, Darkseer is above the Huskar, which is not something you ever want to have happen in terms of net worth. And if you take a look at levels also, I mean, Viper's level 14, pretty close to being able to get that level 3 in Viper Strike, which is just so much damage. In terms of items, the other things that we've got going around here, we do have the Glimmer Cape up on the Darkseer, so he's going to be able to keep alive that... you know, he's going to be able to keep alive that CK if the Wisp ends up getting into trouble, or even himself. Viper, Sanjin, Yasha looking towards the plate mail. Do you think this is better for going into something like a AC at this point?
I'm sorry, for which hero? For the Viper?
Yeah.
Yeah, AC seems likely. Also, let's see if this is... whenever I see a plate mail, I'm like, is this a good Lotus Orb game? And I'm not seeing I mean, I guess you can Lotus Orb the Huskar's life break, but there's nothing. That's probably something you don't want to do, actually. So yeah, it's probably just going to be the simple Assault Cuirass. It's really good with their lineup, really good with Nether Toxin, etc. But looking at this lineup, like the laning stage actually looked really good at the beginning from DC. There was a couple of things that really stood out to me. One was, as you mentioned, the Bounty Hunter that made Quap run back to get his bottle. It does make a difference, and Viper really pulled ahead as a result. But the biggest thing really was that bottom fight. Like, Bulba not going for the courier, but then revealing his position, but then still ganking. That it just didn't make any sense, and that was really the turning point here for TC when they go and look back at the game. Obviously, it's not over, but they had a big hill to climb.
Definitely.
As it's up to over 14,000 net worth.
Well, in doing the best they can right now, you're also going to be seeing the Queen of Pain push on down here and try and split push the bottom lane, and or not split push, rather, cut the creep wave to make sure that they don't get a huge creep wave coming in from behind. I think the thing that's tough about that is, like, as a Nyx assassin, it's another one of those heroes that I do feel like wants to get off to a pretty good start and is able to get up that blink dagger and, you know, make his presence felt around the map. And so you so badly want to be able to make the most of that first early rotation, and it you know, it just didn't end up working out that time for him. He wasn't able to make it happen because maybe just a moment or two of indecisiveness ends up sort of causing it all to come crumble.
That's what Dota is, man. You got to capitalize on those 1 to 2 seconds that you have to really think about something. TC's getting reality rifted. There is a grave available, and he does cast the grave. He's actually going to go forward for Hanskin. Then he attacks Illusion. Oh, the Glimmer Cape did come out from the Wisp. TC, nice ice pad there from Aoi 2000. Big ultimate, put a relocate out at the nice, perfect time from Hanskin. Really well done. I think it's going to be the death of the Wisp.
Yeah, they're going to throw out that Glimmer Cape, or just try and make sure they drop the Sentry so that they don't end up getting away on this one. But Hanskin definitely going to fall. TC isn't getting that kill. Dazzle actually the last hit there with the little jump. They were bringing on over Z-Freak to see if they could potentially tether over, but too much damage too quickly, and they do end up picking up a kill there.
Really nice Wisp play, though, from Hanskin. I haven't really seen him play this hero, so the fact that you can rely on him for those nice clutch relocates out is sobering. So really nice play from him, from the new player of compLexity.
Absolutely. So Aoi's going to toss on out a Liquid Fire. Ends up hitting onto Z-Freak at the same time. Slightly upset about that, but no big deal at all. This is giving him a good amount of information and making sure that they're able to track away at all of these heroes if the situation does arise. I think that actually Bounty Hunter might have revealed himself there with the Shadow Walk. But no big deal at all. They're still very comfortable. Do you feel like compLexity need to really push this, or can they wait for the next Aegis?
I think waiting for the next Aegis is fine. You obviously don't want them to get back into the game, though. I still think, and I know I've beat it to death, the Nyx Assassin Axe is just ridiculously strong. He ain't getting anytime soon this game, though. So yeah, he's had kind of a rough start in terms of farming. But you still don't want to give him that opportunity. Force Staff is coming out on Jakiro. Actually, he has it right now. So the items are starting to trickle in just a little bit. But again, I don't think DC's ever going to be able to push and make something happen with the team just because of the Wisp being able to have this global presence. I do really approve of the Force Staff over what seems to be the standard Yule Scepter for Jakiro. Oh, I see a blink, but they're not going to go for anything. Oh, bottom. I totally missed it.
CK was able to get a quick kill there on the Queen of Pain. Sorry about that one as well. We were seeing potential posturings over there in the mid lane as Viper was able to get off at least one of those right clicks onto the Huskar, but Inner Vitality and walk away. They get a pretty key kill right now on the Queen of Pain, though. I feel like at this point in time, she does not have buyback, dead for 30 seconds. At least this is potentially going to secure them decent positioning for Roche.
Yeah, Hanskin's just camping here in the Roche pit, just waiting for it. They know it's spawning soon. And it is. So, and look at all the lanes are pushed. Like, this is a perfect opportunity as soon as this spawns. Hopefully, I see so many times where someone will wait in the pit forever and they're like, yeah, screw it, I'm out of here. And then it respawns right as they leave. But nope, it respawns right in front of them, so they know it's up.
Yeah. Well, and Swindles now can be a ward up there on the high ground and tossing out the Ion Shells. Make sure they keep on staying pushed out. I think that at this point, I mean, Zizzy isn't necessarily the best Roche taker in the world on the CK. Obviously, illusions don't do anything to Roche, and you don't want to have to pop it regardless. But with the armlet up, as well as the extra damage coming out from Limp, Roche is going to fall very quickly. They are going to be in position to potentially make something happen here, but this seems a little bit bold here by DC. Bulba is moving on forward. They're pinging it on out. They realize that this is going down, and if they wanted to, they could go for Roche steal, but I'm not sure if it's the proper option. Viper ends up picking up the Aegis, and now they're outside of their bake. They need to get out of here very quickly.
They do have I thought they had a gem on Z-Freak. Maybe they transferred it. It's on the Darkseer now. Yeah, Darkseer, who has the gem now, gets the vacuum, cancels the TP from Bulba. Bulba pops a Carapace, a little bit premature, but a little bit scared. He's probably dead regardless. Runs away, no blink up for now, and 2 more seconds, but there comes the Wisp, and that's a dead Nyx Assassin.
Yeah, very, very, very dead. You've got 45 seconds without your Nyx Assassin. You also have Aegis up on compLexity. This has just looked like such a clean game for them. They found everything that they've needed at almost every stage of the game. Track kills abound, even though the bounty hunter didn't get the earliest levels. Now relocated on top of 1437. That's going to end up being a kill. He does end up getting off the grave finally, which is pretty solid. 3-second stun though, and Wisp ends up getting the last hit. Handskins, they're all pushing up onto high ground now, both bottom lane as well as mid lane pushing in. compLexity looking to take this game very, very quickly unless we see something miraculous out of the rest of the side of DC.
And see, this is what it is. It's pushing, but also creating pressure on every side of the map. And that's just what Wisp is all about, and they know how to play it. It's very, very scary when you have a Wisp player on your arsenal and you know what to do with it. I really feel like it's going to get banned out, and this could be just fine for DC. They know, oh, very nice BKB time in there from Zizzy. 4-second stun onto Bulba. Can he get enough damage before he gets away? No, yes he can. Good damage coming on to compLexity, but they still have a mech. They're still pretty healthy. TC fighting up with Zizzy. There's a nice grave though.
Yeah, he's going to be able to stay alive a little bit longer. This might actually be the turnaround. Limp is stacking on up a lot of those burning spears. That's going to be the Chaos Knight finally going down there in the end. Bounty Hunter takes out the Huskar though, and now Handskin caught up with Limp. They're staying alive just barely. The Aegis finally does end up popping, as does the Io. They're going to need to back out now. They've ended up losing 3 at the back of this. Limp, unfortunately, not quite able to hit there with the Ice Path, but they still do have a fully HP'd up Viper. They're going to start keeping on pushing this down. Jump forward, Swindle Melons. Does end up catching a vacuum there, but Aoi 2000 just going to walk away after the grave keeps him alive. And Limp can keep this pressure up. I mean, they've already taken down both of the tier 3 towers, and looks like they might be in a position now where they might want to back. Taking a look at the fight recap, a bit of a win there for DC, despite the fact that they were only able to burn through the Aegis on the Viper.
Yeah, still shows you how much of a beast Huskar can be with the Dazzle sitting behind him. I think there were a lot of attacks missed too with that Talisman of Evasion. He does have his Halberd now too, so he can stop the attacks from the Viper is probably the big one. Obviously Chaos Knight, but if there's tons of illusions and he gets lucky with the ultimate prod from Fantastic giving him that extra illusion that can be difficult to scout out the correct one, which by the way, I don't know if he misskilled or, oh, I see a stun coming up to Aoi.
You said he didn't end up taking his ulti again?
Yeah, I think what happened, and I do this from time to time, is like if you've already ultied and then you ding in the fight, it's kind of like, I don't want to put my point in the ulti, that's pointless because I just ulted, so let's get some more stats. I know the thinking process behind it, but it does suck right now because he won't have that level 3 ultimate available.
Well, moving on in yet second time, it feels like DC might not be able to hold off this time. There is still a chance. Zizzy now with Ion Shell there. Bulba ends up hitting one with the Impale. Unfortunately, their TC's jumping forward. BKB is now popped at this point in time. There's the grave. Vacuum on back as well as the wall. That's going to be Bulba exploding. TC soon to fall as well with the BKB up on Zizzy. This is just so hard to fight against. And now we're going to end up seeing the rest of DC back on up with only the Queen of Pain and the Dazzle. This is at least 2 racks. And it looks like they're going to jump forward again. Catch the Queen of Pain. Not quite there in time with the Reality Rift. It comes right before the blink comes out, and now going for tier 4s. GG ends up getting called. Yuar is going to say that's it for us right now. Moving on into game 2. TraLF, this one didn't feel close.
No. Well, it did for a little while, and then those, I think honestly a blunder from DC of the decision to go for that gank after the Nyx was revealed, I think was very, very questionable. I again go back to, I don't think that Quap was a good pick here. I think Quap is not a fighter. He's not really that great of a team fighter, contrary to what you might think with his ultimate and good AoE damage. He is like a pick-off hero, and he's a fighter once he gets like the BKB, maybe Assault Cuirass if you need that physical damage. But against compLexity's lineup with, I think it was the last pick Viper, if I'm not mistaken, and I really like it. I thought I was leaning towards maybe like Alina, but Viper seems to fit their entire lineup better. Like Darkseer, Mech on Viper with the Wisp, it just makes a lot more sense. And just Quap can never fight into that. She can never blink in. She has to wait for someone else to go, but they never really had someone else to go with DC's lineup. So, but yeah, moving into game 2, I really think the Wisp will be banned. I just think it was too much for DC to handle.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys again for watching. We're going to move into game 2 in just a second or two here. Sorry about the technical issues at the very beginning. Not exactly sure what was going on there, but we have